Hi, in this video I'm going to be talking about how making small savings like giving up cigarettes over time will add up to a ton of money, often far more than our gut instinct tells us, as the interest on our savings compounds over time. My name is Lars Kroyer. I'm a former hedge fund manager who's written a couple of books about finance, and I'm now doing these videos as a hobby. In the example, I'm going to outline how Bob, who quit smoking at the age of 18, by his mid-50s, will have enough money to either buy 12 Porsche cars, not that I can imagine what he'd do with 12 of them. He could send 2,000 kids to school for a year in Africa. Or if he continued to the age of 67, he could retire a dollar millionaire.
I want to emphasize that this video is really more about the economics of small savings and how they compound over time, and less about smoking specifically. It's really none of my business whether you smoke or not. But continue with the example of Bob the smoker. Let's say that Bob smokes a pack a day, which costs him $12.50, and that on an annualized basis is $4,500 a year, which is obviously quite an expensive habit. So here I want to show you how we calculate the cumulative savings from Bob quitting his cigarettes. Let's start with the return on investment. Now, I made some earlier videos that show how you can reasonably expect to make 5% a year on a stock market investment after inflation. I'd encourage you to check out those videos, including how you make them, exactly which stock index trackers you should buy, and so forth. But for now, just take it as read, the 5%. So going back, Bob's 18, he's putting aside his $4,500 a year, which obviously means at the end of first year, he's put aside the total of $4,500. Then the following year, Bob is now 19. He's again putting aside the $4,500. Keep in mind, this is all in present value numbers, so we can ignore inflation. And in that year, he can reasonably expect to make $228, which is the 5% return on investment on the year-end savings the prior year, $4,500. But what you notice is that the return on investment column goes up really quickly, as you'd expect, as your year-end savings are expected to go up really quickly. In fact, already in the year that Bob is 24, he's still putting aside the $4,500, but now he has accumulated savings, or expected to accumulate savings, of $31,000, on which he can reasonably expect to make still the 5%. And that's now $1,500 just in that year. It obviously goes up a lot more in the later years, but I just wanted to walk you through the math here so you can perhaps copy the math with your own numbers in your own time if you want to. So illustrating the same numbers graphically, what you have here is a chart that shows the savings from Bob quitting the cigarettes at 18. On the x-axis you have the age from 18 to 67, and the y-axis is the amount saved up. Now, the blue line represents the $4,500 that Bob puts aside a year, which you can see by the age of 67, Bob will have saved almost $250,000, $250,000 from not smoking. But importantly, the green line is the cumulative savings that Bob has made when you include the 5% compounding. In other words, the 5% return that Bob can reasonably expect his savings to go up by every year, in addition to the $4,500 he puts aside. What you notice is that around the age of 55, 56, Bob will already expect to have put aside $500,000, whereas in retirement, 67, Bob can reasonably expect to retire a millionaire, or about $1 million. And importantly, this is all down to the impact of the compounding at 5% a year. So the difference between the green and the blue line is all because of the compounding at 5% a year of the savings that Bob has already made. So just to give you an idea of the magnitude of the amount of savings that Bob has put away, as mentioned earlier, by middle age, Bob has saved up enough money to either buy his 12 Porsche cars, this is the $500,000, or alternatively, he could have sent 2,000 African girls to school for a whole year. If he had continued this to retirement, he could have retired a millionaire, all from no longer smoking. The example of this video has been based on the US and the US dollar, but they really apply in any geography. The 5% compounding after inflation will similarly be roughly the same everywhere.
Now, this video hasn't really been about how you should quit smoking, although that's clearly a good idea for lots of reasons, including health, but more about how the impact of compounding over time is often much, much bigger than our gut instinct tells us. We could have made the example be how you could, instead of getting a large Starbucks coffee in the morning, get a medium or a small one, and how that would add up to a lot of money over time. You can find similar examples in your own life and do the math yourself. But the fact remains, compounding matters a great deal, and small savings over time, even at a 5% annual compounding rate, will typically add up to a lot more than you think. I hope this video has been helpful. Please share it with your friend if you think they would benefit from watching it. You can subscribe to my channel, but in any case, I hope to see you in the next video.